If my business was taken away from me tomorrow and I had to start all over again, I couldn't use my personal brand, I couldn't use any of the contacts that I have in the industry, what would I do? How would I make money with my Facebook and Instagram advertising knowledge really fast? Now, I think you're going to be surprised by my answer, and I have proof that this works. It's exactly what I would do if I was starting all over again, and I guarantee that you'll make more money from this than from the crappy dropshipping business you started or trading ridiculous cryptocurrencies. Here's exactly what I would do step by step. Step one would be to pick a niche with the following criteria. A, service business. B, can only be delivered locally. C, high average customer value. D, standardized service. And E, lots of demand. Examples, most services to do with people's homes meet all those criteria. Plasterers, carpet fitters, tilers, etc. There's tons of them. Now, it's very important that the niche you choose meets all 5 criteria. So if we take plasterers as an example, A, is it a service-based business? Yes. B, can it only be delivered locally? Yes, a plasterer needs to go to the physical location in order to do the plastering services. And this is actually an extremely important point, because when you advertise a service that can only be delivered locally, you are only competing against the other businesses that offer the same service in your local area. If you take a town like Cheltenham, where I live, how many plasterers are currently running Facebook ads, for example? Definitely less than 10, probably less than 5. And of those 5, let's say, how many of them are actually doing a good job with their Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns and have high quality ads running? Maybe 1, probably none. That means it's so much easier to win that Facebook ads market and create the best Facebook ads for plasterers in Cheltenham. Compare that to a different type of business. Let's say you launched a sportswear brand in the US. You would then be competing against Nike and Adidas and some of the biggest incumbents in that industry, plus all the other people that are launching new sportswear brands just like you. How hard is it to win that Facebook ads market? Almost impossible. And remember, when it comes to anything digital marketing, all the rewards go to the very best. So you have to pick markets that you can actually win. Anyway, back to the list. Do plasterers have high average customer values? Well, yes, in my experience, a plasterer is going to charge for a typical job anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000, let's say. Now, of course, there are going to be exceptions. There's going to be bigger jobs than that, and some plasterers will take on small jobs, but the average order value here is going to be much larger than, say, an e-commerce business that's got an average order value of $50. D, is it a standardized service? Yes, for the most part, there's going to be variation, but fundamentally, most plasterers are delivering the same service. And E, is there lots of demand? Well, of course, anyone that's building a new home or remodeling a home needs a plasterer. There's lots of demand for plasterers now, and that's certainly not going anywhere anytime soon. Step 2 is to find the best reviewed plasterers in your local area. There are tons of review sites that are going to give you that information, and then call the best one, see if they have any more capacity to take on more work. If they do, great. If not, simply move on to the next one and keep going down the list until you find a business that is available and does have capacity to take on more work. And when you speak to them, make sure you ask them how much work they can actually take on. That information is going to be really important in the next step. Step 3, run a leads campaign on Facebook and Instagram for plastering services. Now, as you know, this campaign does not need to be anything special. Here's what it should include. I'd start with some before and after images showing an absolute mess for the before and then a beautiful, smooth, plastered wall for the after. Include some ad copy that promises to be clean and tidy, competitive on price, get your work done on time, etc. Simply target everyone over 30 in your local area and offer a free quote. All the plasterers that you contacted in the previous step will offer a free quote, so that shouldn't be a problem. And listen to these next 2 points very carefully because they're very important. Firstly, offer to guarantee something or the customer doesn't pay. Now, this has to be something that's actually important to your customer. With plasterers, for example, you could guarantee that the work will be done on time. For other services, you might need to guarantee something else, like results or a certain amount of money saved, but make sure that you guarantee something. And the second point that you need to pay very close attention to is to include scarcity and urgency in your Facebook ads. Remember when I got you to ask the plastering company how many new clients they could actually take on? Well, here's why. You need to include that information in your ad. It'll help encourage them to take action, inquire, and become a lead. For example, these 2 really important points put together would look something like this. Ad copy, ad copy, ad copy, and the best bit, we guarantee to finish our work on time or you don't pay. Brackets, this special offer is only available for the next 17 clients, as will then be fully booked up for the rest of the year. Now, that has scarcity because there are a limited number of slots available, just 17. And it has urgency because your prospects need to act fast and get their slot booked in, otherwise they'll miss out on the great guarantee. Run this Facebook and Instagram ad campaign as a leads campaign that uses instant forms. For those who aren't familiar, instant forms are where someone clicks on a Facebook or Instagram ad, and instead of being taken somewhere off app, they're kept within those apps and presented with a form where they can submit their contact information that then gets forwarded onto you as the advertiser that you can use to then reach out to those people. The advantage to doing it this way is that you don't need to make a website. As I said, this really is the easiest way to make money with Facebook and Instagram ads. And right now you might be thinking, hang on a minute, Ben, is that all the detail you're going to go into about the Facebook ad campaign? I need to know all the specifics. Don't worry, I've got you covered. So firstly, I've created a full detailed tutorial that shows you exactly how to create lead campaigns that use instant forms. I'll include a link to that in the video description below. Plus, I have over 400 Facebook ads related tutorial videos on my YouTube channel. So you can go through anything you want there, and you've got all the information you need to turn this fairly basic Facebook and Instagram ad campaign that I just described to the super duper mega deluxe, all singing and dancing, bells and whistles Facebook ad campaign that's going to take your results to the next level. Let's move on to step 4. Work the leads. Lead follow-up is actually really simple. It's just a bit of effort and a bit of not caring about being a little bit annoying. So with the leads that your Facebook and Instagram ad campaign generates, call them and book in a free quote. If your leads don't pick up the phone, leave a message, then wait a few hours and call them again. Then wait a day and call them again. And keep going until your leads pick up the phone. Most people give up on leads way too early. But if you call a new lead twice a day, every day for a week after they become a lead, you'll get in contact with many more people, you'll have a much higher contact rate, and you'll get a lot more free quotes booked in as a result. Also, as soon as you've got this up and running, you can hire someone to do this lead follow-up for you. So in the meantime, just suck it up and crack on. Step 5, call the plastering company that you had previously contacted, explain the situation to them, and get them to go around and provide a free quote. Now, it's really important that they send that quote to you, not directly to the client. I'll explain why in step 6. I know some people would be nervous about this step, but you shouldn't be. Plasterers are used to being subcontracted by general contractors and interior designers. They know how this process works, they know how to play the game, and the same is true with other similar trades. Then step 6, once you receive the quote from the plasterer, add 50% and send it on to your client. So if you receive a quote from the plasterer for $4,000 for a particular job, charge the client $6,000 for that job and you get to keep the difference. That means that for this one job, you would make $2,000 for basically booking in a free quote and then booking in the work with the plasterer and the client. Not a bad hourly rate at all. Of course, not every client will say yes, but more than enough will. And 50% is the smallest addition I would make. If you want to charge more than 50%, you probably can. There's quite a lot of variation in price between different plasterers anyway. Now, really important point here. When you book the work in with the plasterer and the client, make sure you add a lot of extra time, otherwise you could run into difficulties with the guarantee that you made for the work to be completed on time, or the customer doesn't pay. So if the plasterer tells you that it's going to take, say, 4 days to do the work, tell the client it's going to take 8 days, just to be sure. Step 7, repeat. There is nothing stopping you from hiring more plasterers, hiring people to manage the booking process for you, and scaling this up to something very significant very quickly. Like I said at the beginning, if I had to start all over again, this is exactly what I'd do. Now, before you go anywhere, you're probably thinking, there's no way that this is this easy. Nobody in their right mind would buy anything after a 50% markup. That's way too much, right? So let's have a little think about that. I'm going to use my very first job as an example. Now, my first job was in a mailbox, etc. I was 18 or so. And I remember that we used to offer a packing service, and we would charge per hour to package items ready to be shipped. And that packing service was charged out at £35 per hour. Now me, as the employee doing the work, I was paid an hourly rate of £6 per hour. That's almost a 500% increase on what I was paid versus what the customer was paid. If you work in a service-based business and you offer a service and you look at the discrepancy between what your company charges for your time and what you're paid for an employee, it's almost certainly going to be much, much larger than the 50% that I'm recommending here. So yes, you can absolutely sell at a markup of 50% or more. And once you've got the system in place, you can expand and hire full-time service providers and find a way to improve the quality of the service and build out a full business. In that sort of market, it would be really easy to build $1 million a year or more business, because it's really easy to be the best marketer in that niche in your local area. The second concern that you might have is, what if the people delivering the service don't do a very good job? Well, the solution to that is pretty simple. Simply stop working with them.
I think you are a lost cause in this process. Stephen, you're fired.
There are tons of skillful people out there, and you can absolutely find other ones to work with, whether that's plasterers or patio cleaners or carpet cleaners or whatever niche that it is that you're using. Once those people understand that you are a great potential source of business for them, they're going to try their best. They're going to want to keep you happy. And to be extra safe, I'd also look at grabbing a simple insurance policy. Now, in this video, I talked about running a lead generation campaign on Facebook and Instagram in order to generate the leads for the service that you're marketing. I'd strongly recommend that you check out this video here, which is a full walkthrough on exactly how to set up lead generation campaigns. It goes through all the steps, shows you everything you need to get great results. I'd strongly recommend you check it out next.